They played an excellent game in Game 5. It was, they kept Calgary under control completely in Calgary. The Canucks outshot the Flames by quite a bit, and the score was 1-1 from early in the first period on.
Back to Linden in the Calgary zone. He's checked. Following up is Adams. Over to Burry. Shoot, scores! Pavel Burry gets the piano off his back.
Pavel Burry scored the first goal of the game, and he had not scored in the series. And this was somewhat of an issue. I think it was Mike Sullivan that Calgary was using to shadow Burry, and they were giving him credit with shutting down Pavel, who had scored 60 goals in the regular season. And they thought, oh, they had Burry stopped.
You know, he really didn't, for Pavel's sake, didn't play as well in the first round. There was some contract stuff going on that we didn't even know about. But he found a way to get his game going when it was the biggest point of the game. And from then on, he ignited himself, and you could see our team build confidence.
It stayed 1-1 for the longest time, but the Canucks didn't seem to mind that. They were on the road, and they were sort of controlling the game.
So you got to start thinking, will this one go an extra frame? And the way they're playing right now.
Back comes Courtnall.
I remember that goal to this day.
Courtnall with a chance.
Because where we worked in Calgary, we looked down on the blue line just to our left that Calgary was defending, and Courtnall came in on the left wing.
Courtnall shoots!
The outer edge of the left face-off circle wound up and slapped a high slap shot and scored.
Yours! Jeff Courtnall, the winning goal in overtime at 7:15. We're back to Vancouver for Game 6.
Jeff Courtnall scored a huge goal in Game 5, and just kind of seemed like the momentum shifted, and for whatever reason we kind of got on a bit of a roll. And
sometimes the luck comes to the team that deserves it, and you know, when it rang off the goal post and went the other way, and Jeff Courtnall, who's been known to score some big goals for the hockey club, lets a slapper go top shelf, that really ignited the team.
Jeff had a very good playoff, and he was happy to be at home, so to speak, a BC boy, and he had a lot of big goals in the playoffs.
He's a clutch player, no question. He scores big goals. You know, he's a real opportunistic guy. He gets his chance and he makes them pay. And you know, he was just kind of a wild card, and he's got a great shot. And he was a real good playoff player for us, for sure.
He seemed to just rise to the occasion all the time in playoffs. He just was our go-to guy. At the point, obviously Pavel was there as well, but Jeff had a past history of scoring big goals at the right time in big playoff games.
You know, anytime you get down 3-1 after Game 4, you're kind of living on the edge, so it's all kind of the same drill. You know, you go into Game 5, backs against the wall, seeing nothing changes for Game 6.
You know, the pressure was all on Calgary at that point. The pressure was taken off of us, so that may have played a big factor as well.
Calgary still ahead of the series, 3-2, and Game 6 is very tight and close, and they go into overtime, and the overtime is going on quite a while, and you know in overtime that strange things can happen. Goals can go in off a skate, or strange goals can come about, and you knew that Calgary, just as well as Vancouver, could get that goal. And I think Calgary was having a bit of an edge in the play in the overtime. But then came a key play.
Boy, what a great period. Calgary appears to have picked up a penalty for having too many men on the ice.
I remember we were starting to get to him a little bit because they were really trying to match against Pavel, myself, and Greg Adams, and we were catching him at times, confusing him with their line chasing changes and stuff. And it was an overtime, and they'd made a mistake on their bench and had too many men on the ice.
Dave King, one of the nice guys in hockey, might have lost his job because of this. Calgary was called for too many men on the ice late in the overtime, about 16 minutes or so.
There's absolutely no doubt. 2 in the corner, 3 in front, and 1 by the blue line. Now, the amazing thing about this is Vancouver had the pressure on Calgary, and they had the extra guy.
And so the Canucks were on a power play in overtime, and Pat Quinn called a timeout, and they discussed the overtime, and apparently the word was, it was very simple. He says, make sure you get shots on the net and traffic to the net. The old Roger Nielsen theory on power play, just get it through on the net and everybody charge the front of the net. And that's exactly what happened on the winning goal.
We just talked about him just putting it on net, just getting it to the crease and, you know, a scramble, a rebound or whatever, and he got it through the crease.
Back of the net. Puts it on the boards to Burry, working off the right boards. Pavel Burry with the puck, holding it, winds up, wrist shot, stop!
I was in front of the net, kind of laying there, and
Rebound! Tyler Linden scores! Trevor Linden scores in overtime. We're going to Game 7 in 1994.
just kind of swiped at it and went in, and it was pretty crazy in the rink that night.
It doesn't get any better than this. Wow!
It was somewhat of a scramble, and there was a loose puck in front. Trevor Linden was right in front of the goaltender, Vernon, who was already down after the first save, and Linden sort of scooped it past him into the net to win it in overtime.
Really wasn't sure it was in because it went underneath him, and it was, boy, it's a great feeling.